Hello everyone, and welcome to the channel. It's been a little while, but I hope you are all doing well. I'm switching things up a bit, dropping the iceberg gimmick, and just laying out cool things within a topic. With that being said, I hope you enjoy, and I'm always looking for feedback, so feel free to drop down below and show support or criticism. To get us started, out-of-place artifacts are items found in an unusual context, which challenges previous historical data. Some items may be more technologically advanced, others may suggest contact between civilizations which we believe did not interact. Some, however, are questionable in their interpretation, and I will make sure you know which is which. The examples shown in this video are the most popular and prevalent within this category. Hey everybody, just a quick foreword. I tried my best at pronouncing a lot of these words and looked up correct pronunciations for the words I was able to find. However, there were a few words that I was just unable to find online, so I tried my best, no disrespect to those people or cultures involved, and without further ado, let's get into it. Antikythera mechanism. The Antikythera mechanism is an ancient Greek astronomical device, dated between the early 1st and late 2nd century BC. It is regarded as the earliest known example of an orrery, or a mechanical model of the solar system, and as such was constructed to predict positions of planetary bodies and eclipses for calendar purposes. It is widely considered one of the most sophisticated scientific instruments of the ancient world, and it has shed new light on the level of knowledge and technology available during the Hellenistic period. The Antikythera mechanism was first discovered off of the coast of the Greek island Antikythera in 1901 by sponge divers. The device was found in a wrecked merchant ship, along with other artifacts like jewelry, statues, and coins. About the size of a shoebox, the mechanism is made of bronze and composed of more than 30 gears, some of which are the size of a grain of rice. The interconnected gears allow for the device to calculate the position of the sun, moon, and planets, along with phases of the moon, and dates of the Olympic Games. The Antikythera mechanism has been studied by scientists and historians for many years. In recent years, new technologies, such as X-ray computed tomography, have allowed researchers to study the mechanism in greater detail. This research has revealed new insights into the mechanism's construction and operation. For example, researchers have discovered that the mechanism was able to predict the positions of the planets with an accuracy of up to 1 degree, which is remarkable for a device that was built over 2,000 years ago. The Antikythera mechanism is a reminder that our ancestors were capable of great things, even without the benefits of modern technology. Main penny. The Main penny, also known as the Goddard coin, is a Norwegian silver coin dating to the reign of Olaf Skidre, King of Norway. It was claimed to be discovered in Maine in 1957, and it has been suggested as evidence of pre-Columbian transoceanic contact. The coin was found by Guy Melgren, an amateur archaeologist, during excavations at the Goddard site, a Native American archaeological site at Naskeg Point on Penobscot Bay in Brooklyn, Maine. The coin was found in a layer of soil that was dated to the 11th century. The site was a small village that was inhabited by the Abenaki people between 1000 and 1600 AD. The coin was initially misidentified as a British penny from the 12th century. However, in 1978, experts from London considered that it might have been of Norse origin. Today, the identity of the Main penny as an Olaf Kyrre silver coin is not in doubt. Kolbjorn Skar of the University of Oslo determined the coin had been minted between 1065 and 1080 AD and widely circulated in the 12th and 13th centuries. There is no definitive answer to the question of how the Main penny came into Maine. The discovery of the Main penny has been met with mixed reactions. Some experts believe that it is strong evidence of pre-Columbian transoceanic contact, while others believe that it is more likely that the coin was brought to Maine by a European trader or explorer. Shroud of Turin. The Shroud of Turin is a length of linen cloth that bears an image on the front and back of a man, supposedly Jesus Christ. Believed to be by the early Catholic Church the actual burial shroud used to wrap the body of Jesus after his crucifixion, and upon which his image has been miraculously imprinted. The shroud's image can be seen more clearly through a photographic negative, which was discovered in 1898 by Seconda Pia. The shroud first emerged historically in 1354, when it is recorded in the hands of a famed knight, Geoffrey de Chauny, Seigneur de Lire. The shroud has been the subject of much scientific study, but its origin and authenticity remain a mystery. In 1988, 3 separate teams of scientists conducted carbon-14 dating tests on the shroud. The results of the tests showed that the shroud was made between 1260 and 1390 AD, which is well after the time of Jesus. In addition to the carbon-14 dating tests, the shroud has also been subject to a variety of other scientific tests. These tests have revealed some interesting facts about the shroud. For example, the shroud has been found to contain pollen grains from plants that are native to the Middle East. This suggests that the shroud may have originated in that region. However, it is also possible that the pollen grains were accidentally transferred to the shroud at a later date. The shroud has also been found to contain bloodstains. These bloodstains are consistent with the wounds that Jesus is said to have suffered during his crucifixion. However, it is also possible that the bloodstains were created by someone else, perhaps a medieval artist. While the Vatican position of whether it is real or not has changed throughout history, the current belief under Pope Francis is to view it with awe, but stop firmly short of asserting authenticity. Tamil Bell. The Tamil Bell is a broken bronze bell discovered in approximately 1836 by missionary William Colenso. It was found being used as a pot to boil potatoes by Maori women near Whangarei in Northland region of New Zealand. The bell has an inscription identified as Old Tamil, and translated words read, Mohideen Bach Ship Bell. The bell is a bit of a mystery. No one knows how it came to be in New Zealand, or whom Mohideen Bach was. The name suggests that the bell may have belonged to a Tamil Muslim sailor who traveled to New Zealand. However, there was no historical record of any such sailor. The bell has been dated to the 17th or 18th century, but it could be older. It is possible that the bell was brought to New Zealand by Polynesian explorers who had contact with Tamil sailors. Or, it is possible that the bell was brought to New Zealand by European explorers who had contact with Tamil traders. In recent years, the Tamil bell has become a symbol of cultural exchange and understanding. In 2019, the bell was loaned to the Indian Heritage Centre in Singapore for an exhibition. The bell is currently on display at the Museum of New Zealand Te Papa Tongarewa in Wellington. Takase Kalis Tlahuaca Head. The Takase Kalis Tlahuaca Head is a terracotta head discovered in 1933 among Colombian grave goods in the Takase Kalis Tlahuaca zone in the Toluca Valley, northwest of Mexico City. Because the head appears to be similar in style to artifacts of Roman origin, some believe that it is evidence of pre-Columbian transoceanic contact between Rome and the Americas. However, several other explanations for its presence have been put forward. Romeo H. Hristoff of University of New Mexico is one of the proponents of this being of Roman origin, having stated that the identity is confirmed as Roman work, with the style being similar to the 2nd century Severian Emperor period, and the age range establishes that it is within the time period stated. However, researchers believe otherwise, believing this to be a hoax. There was informal declaration made that the head was planted at the dig site as a practical joke, but the allegation is impossible to refute as the people involved are now dead. Another belief put forth by Hristoff is that a shipwreck could have caused this to happen, explaining why they never truly found modern-day Mexico and still managed to have artifacts there. And a new section starts here. There are a few other types of finds, but most are essentially the main penny in a different context. So, with most of the interesting true artifacts out of the way, let's head into the murky territory with the questionable interpretations. These are items believed to be something more advanced, but were found to be nothing of the sort, along with items with alternate beliefs. Baghdad Battery. The Baghdad Battery is a set of 3 artifacts that consist of a ceramic pot, a copper tube, and an iron rod. They were found together in 1936 in Kujut Rabu, Iraq, near the metropolis of Ctesiphon. They are believed to date from either the Parthian or Sasanian empires. German archaeologist Wilhelm Koenig hypothesized that they could have functioned as a galvanic cell or battery. The copper tube would have acted as the anode, the iron rod as the cathode, and the liquid in the jar as the electrolyte. When the jar was filled with an acidic liquid, such as vinegar or fermented grape juice, it would have produced a small current. While skeptics argued there was no evidence that they were actually used as batteries, others have conducted experiments showing the artifact could indeed be used as a battery. What makes this case more interesting is that the copper tube was coated with a layer of copper sulfate and the iron rod is corroded, both of which could be evidence of it being used as a battery, or possibly being used for electroplating. However, there are no items dated to that time that are electroplated. Instead, the items under the suspicion appear to be fire gilded. The most likely interpretation of this item is something that appears similar in construction. Storage vessels were made from the same material, and the copper tube and rod can be used for storing scrolls. Several of these type of vessels were found near the Baghdad battery, which takes away from the argument held by the battery idea. I still find it interesting how close we came to discovering electricity long ago. Saqqara bird. The Saqqara bird is a bird-shaped artifact made of sycamore wood, discovered during the 1898 excavation of the tomb of Pa-di-Emen in Saqqara, Egypt. It has been dated to approximately 200 BCE and is now housed in the Egyptian Museum in Cairo. Its purpose is not entirely understood. The Saqqara bird is shaped like a falcon, with a long, slender body and a pointed head. The wings are held out to the side, and the tail is forked. There are no feathers carved onto the bird, but this may be due to the fact that the paint has faded over time. Some people believe that the Saqqara bird is a glider. They argue that the bird's shape and weight are consistent with a glider, and that the wings are designed to catch the wind. They also point to the fact that the bird was found in the tomb of Pa-di-Emen, who is a high-ranking official in the Egyptian government. They believe that Pa-di-Emen may have been a scientist or engineer who was interested in flight. Others believe the Saqqara bird is a ritual object or a toy. They argue that the bird is too small and light to fly, and it would be unstable in the air. They also point to the fact that the bird is not carved with any detail, which is unlike other Egyptian artifacts that are meant to be functional. They believe that the bird was more likely used for religious or symbolic purposes. In addition to the arguments for and against the Saqqara bird being a glider, there are a few other theories about its purpose. Some people believe it was a weather vane, while others believe it was a representation of the soul. There's also the possibility that it was simply a decorative object. Whether a glider, ritual object, or a toy, the true purpose of the Saqqara bird is still a mystery. Iron Pillar of Delhi. The Iron Pillar of Delhi is an iron pillar located in the Qutub complex at Mehrali in Delhi, India. It is famous for its rust-resistant composition of metals used in its construction, despite most materials from ancient times being susceptible to rust. The pillar weighs more than 6 tons, and it is thought to have been erected elsewhere and moved to its present location by Angapal Tamar in the 11th century. The pillar has stood over 1,600 years without rusting, which is a remarkable feat. But this is not exactly 100% true. The iron itself has a lower carbon content than modern steel and a high phosphorus content, which causes it to form a thin protective layer of rust that prevents the underlying iron from corroding. There are a few theories about how the ancient Indians were able to produce such a high-quality iron alloy. One theory is that they used a process called bloomery smelting. Bloomery smelting is a traditional method of iron making that involves heating iron ore in a furnace with charcoal. The charcoal provides the heat and also acts as a reducing agent, which removes the oxygen from the iron ore. Another theory is that the ancient Indians used a process called direct reduction. Direct reduction is a more modern method of iron making that involves heating iron ore in a furnace with a reducing gas, such as hydrogen or carbon monoxide. And for our final take, I think we should do something funny. The Babylon Nokia. This object was created in 2012 to resemble a stone version of the Nokia line of mobile phones. What makes this particular case interesting is that a YouTube channel had actually made a video on this subject, causing certain scientists and news channels who had less than stellar record of research to pick this up as an actual discovery. From there, a few claims were made that it was actually a 13th BC artifact. However, the creator chimed in to remind everyone that it was, in fact, just a piece of art. Just goes to show that if something seems too good to be true, it most likely is. And that's all I have for you today, folks. I hope you enjoyed the video, and since we are at the end, I thought I'd talk a little bit more about the future of the channel. Basically, expect some changes to be made as I go forward and determine what I want this to look like. My editing style, the way I write articles, and the subject of videos will constantly be changing in a few minor ways while I determine what's best from a viewer perspective. The next video I'll be working on, unless things change, will be a deep dive on the Thule Society as requested by a viewer. This upcoming video will be done more professionally, with no background game and a more thorough script. With all that being said, however, if you like my content, then please like and subscribe, as both help me to see a future for my videos. Anyway, that will be it. I hope you all have a nice night. Take care of yourselves, everyone.